Welcome to another episode of the 2 for 1 podcast. I'm your host, Dion, and joining me, as they tend to do on a Monday night, are my co hosts, joining me live from the Garden State, where he's currently fighting for his life in his Football Fantasy League's championship matchup, while
Football
also,
fantasy.
fantasy football championship matchup,
This
also
man
holding
slaying
second place
orcs.
in the Talking Hoops Fantasy League. It is Nate Taylor. Nate, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, just to put I'm trying to get the game up here really quick in a second. So you guys, here's what's at stake. I went 12-2. My team is named after Harold Fannin Jr. If you follow football, you're aware that he's become one of the best tight ends in the league as a rookie for the Browns. Yada, yada, yada. I'm in the championship right now, and I'm down by 21. I need Matt Stafford to outscore Kyle Pitts by 21 points. Probably not going to happen, but it could happen. And just to keep myself and my ego safe, I bet against Matt Stafford and bet on Kyle Pitts tonight.
Wow.
So that way, either outcome, hopefully I'm happy 1-1. One of the
Winner
other.
either way.
Brilliant.
A winner either
Yeah.
way. I love it.
Has been awfully good.
Throw is picked off. Intercepted by Bates. Was a 61-yard punt. Here is a shot downfield. Flags on the play. The ball is intercepted by Xavier Watts. Quick throw, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Watts, his second of the night.
And joining me from the land up north, where he is currently holding the best record in the league, Talking Hoops Fantasy Basketball.
It's crazy
My
to
main
bring
man,
that up.
Mitch, Mr. Sider, how are you?
You know what? Scotty B bailed me out, and that's the only reason that I currently hold the best rank. Otherwise, it would Nate
Do I
and
have
would
more
be
points?
a tie.
Who has more points? I think you
have-
might still.
You might have more points in total. I think.
I thought you might have still just because Scotty went and turned into a
A win is
celestial.
a win. A win is a win. And joining me from just outside of Cleveland, coming fresh off of a head-to-head loss to yours truly, but still feeling confident about his playoff chances, is Mr. Josiah Cook. Josie, how we doing?
I'm doing great. And by the way, I'm also leading a 12-2 team into the fantasy football championship. So we need a big game from Puka tonight. But basketball wise, I'm ready to get into these
Luckily-
resolutions, baby.
Luckily, you
Yes,
didn't
sir.
start
Oh my
Michael
God,
Carter
bro,
in a
let's
championship
go.
game.
I don't know anything about football.
Yeah,
at
you
this
don't
point,
even know
I'm
who
not
Michael
gonna lie.
Carter is.
Could.
Yeah.
Anyway, we talk about the NBA over here. And
We
yeah,
do.
like Josie said, it is December 29th. It'll be the 30th, obviously, by the time people are listening to this. New Year's Eve, if you will. So I've been thinking about, some resolutions. And, I'm not really a big resolutions guy, but I've been thinking about, what I might, want to improve on for this year. And it's got me thinking, if we could do the same thing for the 30 NBA teams. So today we're not going to do all 30. We each picked out a handful of them. Just resolutions for each NBA team that we have. Things that, they got to improve on, just finding some critiques for them. I'll let Nate get us started here.
We're gonna get into the first team here, and this is one that's been talked about, or a team and a player that's been talked about a lot in the past few days. Starting alphabetically, actually correctly too, because this is with Atlanta. The Hawks need to trade Trae Young, find any possible route for him to get out of there and just start this new chapter of Hawks basketball. The chapter that looked like it was starting to have an exciting start to the story with Jalen Johnson leading the crew, Nickeil Alexander-Walker having his breakout season, and then comes back, Trae Young comes back, and they allow 125 plus points in every single game that he's returned. I don't know how it gets any better. We know what Trae Young is at this point. I hate to beat a dead horse, but that is the only way that Atlanta is going to get better at this point in time.
Yeah, it's hard to really make the case that he makes them better right now with him on the court. Like the numbers bear it out. When I watch them play, I don't really feel like he's all that additive to what they have going on. Yeah, it feels like the end of the road has kind of come for Trae. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not even just not additive. It's so clearly deducting a lot of their chances of winning. Like it is clearly the effort that's not there on defense. The offense honestly hasn't even been the biggest of problems. It's really the defense. They are so bad when he is on the court. And it's everything because it collapses the entire defense because once one man leaves his guy open, then one guy has to make up for that and the other guy has to make up for that. And it's a constant train of trying to play catch up with one player on the court constantly not being in position. He's always not giving effort. So he'll go and fall down and flop at half court. Like there was a good clip of Alan Hahn kind of calling him out and saying, this is, the face of your franchise. He's walking at half court, walking back to Jalen Brunson. Meanwhile, the Knicks have a whole play going on, leads to a three. It's clear that there's at least no willingness to buy in with Atlanta. So maybe it'll happen somewhere else. I am so sold on it not happening in Atlanta ever. It will not happen. There is nothing you can do to convince me otherwise. And I think Hawks fans feel the same way at this point.
Yeah, I don't really see the destination though. Like, do you guys see anyone really going out and trying to get Trae Young?
Why would you?
It really is a tragedy that we saw the best version of Trey in like 2021, 22. They have never been able to replicate the makeup of that team up to this point.
Hmm.
And I think that's another key thing is like the way that they structured the roster up until this point was like, okay, now let's get Trey some of these tertiary people that create their own offense instead of just getting guys who can spread the floor when he sprays it out from the corner or vertical rim spacers. The best version of Atlanta we saw, weirdly enough, had Clint, John Collins, Bogey, Danilo Gallinari, and basically like half of Cam Reddish and Lou Will. Like the best makeup we've seen for Atlanta. Atlanta just said, nah, fuck that. Like, thank you for that experiment. We're going to go in a completely different direction for some reason. But like you said, what is a fair, proper trade for Trae Young at this point? What do you go like? How do you evaluate a guy that makes his team look worse somehow? Right? Like, there's
Hmm. Yeah, well, making $45 million a year, like I just
yeah.
don't really see who goes out and get them. So yeah, I definitely think Nate, you're right that this relationship should probably end. Like I think the report the other day was like they're looking for the exit ramp on the Trae Young experience or whatever.
That's what I
But
think Tim McMahon
I
said.
don't really know how they go about doing that. Like they're not gonna get much for him. I don't really know who's really looking for a guard right now.
This
That's
is a
probably not
Kings
the
trade if
best.
I've ever seen one.
What
Mm.
about what
Oh,
about
yeah, actually, I'm not gonna lie, that does reek of Sacramento.
This is like
But
quite
is there?
literally, this is them being like Zach LaVine and Keon Ellis. I think we can get ourselves a little bit of a Trae Young package going on here.
Oh man, I
Well,
actually
if
that
Atlanta
I
trades
can
for
look.
Zach
I can
Levine,
actually that might be something.
Oh, I'm telling you, man.
Atlanta trading
Like
for Zach Levine would be horrible though too.
exactly.
Well,
This is why they want to move on. They want to move on from Rizzo Shea for some godforsaken reason. So they'll get Zach LaVine. Bing bang boom.
maybe I
Big
don't know.
brain power.
Josie,
I
what is your
that's
first resolution?
All right, I have the Houston Rockets. Okay, listen. Kevin Durant is great. We all know this. All right. But
Is he?
Rockets, yes, Kevin Durant's one of the greatest scorers in NBA history.
Okay, my bad.
And he is on the Rockets, but
Oh,
they need
that's
to
true.
invest in their future. Okay. In the new
Okay.
year. The development of this young team is their only chance, in my opinion, to win the West. If you look around, everyone is young, everyone is developing that's at the top, or has already reached through that arc with the Nuggets. You have the Spurs on the rise. You have the Thunder still young, still developing. So here's my take. You increase Reed Shepherd and Tari Eason's workload down the stretch of the season, and you give guys like Kevin Durant, for example, maybe Steven Adams, a little less bump going down
Mm.
into the season. Continue to
Yeah.
prioritize Shingun over Durant at the end of these games. I know a lot of people aren't fans of this, but let's think about this. The goal of the Houston Rockets is to win a championship, and you're not going to get there by having Kevin Durant do everything and baby these guys. That's the problem we saw, in many Jimmy Butler led teams over the years, and you can't stunt development when so much was happening last year. So it has not been a bad season for them at all, but I just think invest in the youth because it will pay plenty of benefits down the line.
Yeah, that's a smart take. It can't just be all on Kevin Durant's back because that's not going to work in the playoffs. Yeah, getting these guys these reps now so that they're prepared for these series, that's yeah, definitely a good approach for them the rest of the regular season. Because I honestly, I've also been on that train of like, I don't know why they go to Şengün so much over KD late in games, but thinking it from that perspective, it does make a ton of sense just getting him those reps.
I 100% agree as long as they're in a position where every game doesn't matter down the stretch, but it probably will. And I think as great as it is to prioritize the young players, this Rockets team probably thinks they have a chance to win a championship this year, which isn't like a delusionally crazy thing to say. I think there is a world where they somehow pull off the upsets and they're good
Hmm.
enough to win a championship. So I think when you are trying to put yourself in the best position to win a championship, you have to still do that. I think definitely our Tari Eason's workload going up in general, Reed Shepard's workload going up in general is something we've seen anyways. I don't think you're wrong in saying that they should continue to get more burn. But at the end of the day, if you think Kevin Durant gives you a better shot to win the basketball game at the end of the game, whether it's him taking the last shot, getting Şengün to feed him, I don't know. They can do whatever they feel is right as long as they think it's within the best interest of winning the game. Because I don't think they're in a spot where, as much as you want to develop the young guys, I think they're still developing enough while they're also staying competitive and winning games. So if they're a 3-game difference between being the 3 seed versus the 6 seed at the end of the season, I don't want them just giving the ball to Şengün because they think it's good for his development, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is a little tough in the West. I guess you make a decent point that like because basically what Josie's saying is like sacrifice a couple of regular season wins so that you have a more well-rounded, versatile team that you can go to in the playoffs. Which I like that idea, but yeah, in the West, it could be the difference between, like you said, a 3 seed and a 6 seed, and that, or even like a 7 or 8, which becomes a whole different conversation at that point. So
I
yeah,
don't
I
hate it
guess
though.
actually I do see both sides of it. That's I don't know, Mitch, where do you weigh in
I
on
mean,
that?
my main thing is you've got Kevin Durant now, and your time to win is now. In terms of like what I think the drop off from now and next year is going to be, not insane, but obviously your best chance to win is when your two players are actually playing at their peak. And it does suck to be like, man, imagine if Reed just had like a little more confidence under his belt, 20 more games of being the lead guard and then figuring everything else out. It's nice to think about, but I don't like you said, the difference between having a first round series against Denver versus a first round series against, hell,
Golden
even
State.
Memphis. Right? Like there's so many things where you're like, oh shit, yeah, these extra 3 wins could determine whether or not it's a 7 or a 5 game series we're about to go into.
Yeah.
But what does it matter if they go out in the first round if they're going to lose in the second round to the team you just mentioned?
Who said
They
they're going
have
to
to
lose in the
get
second round?
well, they're going to have to match up with Houston,
Yeah, I think the
or
point
they
is
are
that like
Houston.
yeah,
They're going to
you're
have to
gonna
match up with
need
Denver or OKC
That's
yeah,
eventually.
why. That's my
yeah.
point. Is you need all the help you can get, whether it's one regular season win or
But I
3.
think no, I think Josie's point though is that you're gonna need the Reed Shepherds of the world to like be more seasoned when the playoffs come around in order to beat those teams anyway. So
Yeah, no,
you know
I
what?
don't.
Ultimately,
Yeah, I
I'm on
see.
Team Josie. Yeah, I think
Okay,
lean into the
okay.
Reed Shepard and Tari Eason minutes so that you have like multiple options when it comes to the playoff. Yeah. I'll go to mine next. Mine's really quick and easy, and then we'll go to Mitch's first one. I have the San Antonio Spurs, who obviously, like, I think if we were doing power rankings at the moment, just like who looks the best in this very specific moment, I think you'd have to put them one. Obviously, just
Absolutely.
beating OKC, who was 24-1, beat them 3 times in 12 days. So, they don't have a ton
Well, you
going on
know who
here.
beat them?
We do. Hang a banner, if you will. But really, all I see to resolve here, if I'm the Spurs, is just the Sohan situation. Like, I've always kind of liked Sohan as a prospect. I really like that he ended up in San Antonio, but it's pretty
Like
clear this
his
season, like they
hair.
just don't. They haven't really developed him into the type of guy that they need. And I do think with how good they've been this season, there's no reason not to get aggressive as far as the trade deadline goes. So as much as like I said, I do like him as just like a toolsy backup four. I think they just need someone else in that spot because I think they're like just that one guy behind like Harrison Barnes and Keldon Johnson in the rotation from being like a pretty much complete team minus just the experience aspect of it. But yeah, I think just resolving that is really like all the Spurs need in order to kind of right whatever ship they would need to at this point.
They're pretty much complete, I think, already at this point. So I'd say dangle Sohan in front of the younger tier, the teams that might want to bite on taking a chance on a young guy, like maybe like the Wizards or the Pelicans
Wizards,
guys.
yeah, Wizards came to mind immediately. He
Yeah,
feels like a
I
Wizard to
don't
me.
I don't hate that, but I also don't think that they should just be in a rush to trade him for an older player who might not make that big of a difference. Um, like if you're getting a Doug McDermott caliber replacement level guy or something like not exactly
Yeah,
Doug
that
McDermott,
doesn't
but
move the needle for
if
him
you're
quite
just
enough.
trading him
No, no, no.
for the sake of trading him, I don't like that.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. But I do
But
think
I
just
do
trying to get
think
someone, I would take a swing, even if it's like an expiring
if
contract type of veteran. I would just go and take a swing. He's down to like a career. He's playing half as many minutes as he was his
I
second year in the
know
league.
I
So
know we talked about Sadiq Bey the other day, but I think if the Pelicans are interested in Sohan for chance and they don't care about Sadiq Bey's staying under salary next season, I don't think that's a bad guy to try and go get. If they had Sadiq Bey on top of Harrison Barnes on top of Julian Champagnie, like that is some
yeah,
of the best wing depth you can have in the league.
yeah, that would be elite stuff. But yeah, I think that's as simple as it gets for the Spurs.
Yeah,
Mitch,
I
what is
like
your
that.
first resolution?
I mean, I would like to do my first resolution for the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
Then bring it
Um,
forth.
so my first thing is I would like ESPN to go to their website, go to their depth chart, and realize that they have RJ Nembhard Jr. linked as their starting point guard, not Ryan. Crazy,
Oh, yeah, that is
crazy,
crazy.
crazy
Wow.
overstep from ESPN. I have no idea how that slipped past the net.
Oh,
Well, I do. It's ESPN. It's the bars,
Yeah, but
obviously.
so
But fair to point
RJ
out.
played like 14 games with Cleveland, I think, 4 years ago. Why on God's green earth would they just go, one of the Nemhards is here?
wait, is
Like,
that their brother? Is there
no,
another?
no,
Is there a third?
Nemhard
No.
Jr. isn't even related to Ryan
Yeah, I didn't think
Nembhard.
so. Okay,
For
yeah.
some reason, they have him as their starting point guard for their depth chart. My resolution for the Dallas Mavericks is to figure out which path of their rebuild or contention thing for the team is going to go. Because here's my impasse with Cooper Flag. He has taken that step where I went from like, okay, maybe it's going to be a little harder for him to adjust than I thought to, okay, yes, he's bona fide here. He can do these things whenever he wants. Why are they still running things where like instead of giving Coop the ball and telling, okay, listen, the growing pains are going to be there. Let's iron out the wrinkles while we're at it. They still run a lot of pin down actions as if he's playing alongside a lead guard like Kyrie, where they're like, okay, we're gonna have you as the pin down, and then you're gonna go screen and go for the lob, or you're gonna come baseline and cut for that. You
Mhm.
should just give Coop the ball and let him operate up top because the best version of Coop isn't gonna be some Chris Webber like play finisher. It's going to be somebody who, okay, give me the rock at the like 13 feet and I'll be able to cook from here. I've got a post bag. I'll be able to actually break down. He's much better as a 3 and 4 than like that 4 or 5 that they're kind of playing him
I
as.
think offensively, you want him to be like a Jason Tatum that still attacks the rim.
Yeah, and that's exactly my point. And they're playing him more like you're
No,
kind of like a play finisher,
yeah,
which
they're
is
playing
like
him more like a traditional big in a lot of
yeah,
certain roles where
yeah,
it's like, okay, you're going to be the guy in the dunker spot, or we're going to be moving you from baseline to baseline to try to get like. There is a lot of times where they let Coop go be Coop, and that's like when he went for what was the 33-point game against
Denver.
Denver when they beat Denver. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was blanking on who they played, but that was one of those games where they kind of let Coop just go be him down the stretch, and
Yeah.
he was creating shots for himself, and he was looking like that point forward. I think that you ideally want him to be.
Yeah. And then the caveat to the rest of that is it if you're going to dangle Anthony Davis, you also kind of have to figure out is Kyrie going to be that running mate next to Coop? I think archetypally, a guy like Kyrie makes perfect sense. You want a scoring combo guard who takes away the gravity from Coop, so those doubles don't come as he's going downhill. So the doubles
Mhm.
have to come while it's too late, and then he can dish it out. Is Kyrie that player at this point? We've yet to see that. So I guess the idea of Nemhard is kind of fun because him and Brandon Williams bring a lot of offense that's like almost completely separate in its entity from when Coop's on the floor, and Coop just happens to be a beneficiary of it. But having a guard, even like Darius Garland at that point, opens up so much more for Coop than it does playing alongside these other guards who are there to get theirs, and the playmaking happens after.
As
Their
far as like picking the
focus.
direction though, I don't really know. Same with Trae Young. I don't really know what the market's going to be like for AD, so I don't really think a trade really makes sense. I think you're kind of just
The
stuck with what you
market for
got.
AD is 100% better than the
Well,
market
it's
for
better.
Trae
Yeah, I think
Young,
it's
and I can
better.
tell
Yeah,
you
it's
that
a
with
different situation.
confidence.
But well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know because he's looking to get extended too. Like as soon as he gets traded, from what I was hearing. So
That
I mean, I
has,
don't.
but okay. I mean, AD has really no leverage at this point.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know. Neither of them, I think, are really going to get you any sort of like big haul. I think people like the casual fan is going to be surprised if and when those trades happen and like, oh, they only got that. But like,
Carl Anthony Towns and a cheeseburger. Sorry.
but yeah, no, I like that, and I think you're right, Mitch. That
That
they
was what
really.
I when I thought I was doing the Mavericks before our little mix up. That it was pretty much word for word what I was going to say. So I really like that one.
I mean, there's
Um,
there's there's a million worlds where like, yeah, Anthony Davis could end up on the Hawks. AD could be on his way to Golden State. Hell,
Match.
there's some packages where I'm like, maybe the Miami Heat are dumb enough to pull the trigger on a trade like this.
oh
No,
boy,
Pat
But
Riley would never. Pat Riley would go onto the court and blow his brains out before doing that. I
I
think.
think he would get caught napping before making any deal like that. But what is your
Um.
he's
next
been
one, Nate?
caught he's been
So
caught
this
napping pretty frequently.
we'll keep the cycle going, I guess. So it would be back to me, or right? That's
Yeah.
it.
All
Okay.
right, I can roll with Lakers if you guys want.
I was gonna say I think let's go into the Laker discussion because I know me and Josie both had something to say for this. So I'll let Josie kick us off with the melodramatic head coach, former podcaster of the Lakers.
Yes, so the resolution for the Lakers from me, embrace positivity. Okay, JJ Redick, why are you being so negative towards this team? I mean, yes, I get it. You did lose 3 straight games. You did get blown out on Christmas, but you're 20-10 right now. And you've had a productive season. You figured out some things about some guys in this team that make you feel good about the future of Lakers basketball. And what, are you just gonna be the guy that's like pissing in everyone's Cheerios every time you lose a couple games? Like,
Mhm.
what are you expecting from this team? You have LeBron James on I don't want to say retirement tour, but he's right there. I
He's playing
mean,
like he's halfway into
He's
retirement.
embracing. Yeah, he's embracing for the retirement tour next season. I think.
the team could have, dealt him out of the deck. So my thought is why are you so angry about how this team is performing when you're fourth in the West, which is not
Who
bad
hurt
at
you,
all?
JJ?
Yeah.
Rui
Come on,
Hachimura,
JJ.
that's the answer.
Yeah, and
Hashimura
I
hurt
think like it's
JJ.
one thing because like you said, they got embarrassed on Christmas. Like they just were outclassed. Like you had to watch 5 minutes of that game to be able to tell who was just obviously the better team. So like from one side of things, I understand JJ Redick like laying into his guys, trying to like light a fire, but I feel like you can only do that kind of thing three, maybe four times a year if you have like some clout as a head coach, where you like really just lay into your team publicly like that. He did it like three or four times in the last, it feels like 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is not
not
just the Christmas
not to
Day thing.
mention, it's like it's a rough stretch, but even good teams have bad stretches. Unless you're even the Thunder are having a bad stretch right now. Like every single team has a bad stretch. The minute they're still 5-5 in their last 10, like they're 500 in their last 10 games. That's not the end of the world. This team still has a lot going for them. They still, I think, are a lot better than some teams expected them to be at this point with how bad their defense was looking coming into the year.
Oh, that
They
hasn't
need to.
gotten that much better. I think that's what it is. I think JJ Redick, like he's a smart guy. I think he sees the light at the end of the
Oh yeah,
tunnel for
that
this
well,
Lakers season.
but you
And
can't do that with the Lakers fan base or the
yeah,
Lakers in general.
that's the part. And I feel like that you kind of saw this side of him when he was on TV, where like it was pretty easy for like Perk or somebody to kind of like get under his skin
Yeah,
and really get
well,
him to like lash out like that. So yeah, it's not something you can do as really any head coach, but you're the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Like you cannot do that.
I actually felt like he was turning back on like first take mode, and where he was
Yeah, a
just
little bit. Yeah.
kind of going out and talking about things as if he was watching from the outside and not directly involved with
Yeah,
everything
he's
that's
the
happening.
actual coach, right?
Yeah, I just did you see DeAndre Ayton's response to when he got asked about Saturday's
Oh
practice
yeah,
being
the difficult practice or
yeah,
whatever it's supposed
he's
to be.
like he was basically bluffing, calling his bluff and bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, DeAndre Ayton's probably not the best guy to be,
He might
looking
be
I
one
was
of
I
those
was
towards.
gonna say I was
individuals,
like
yeah.
in terms of like men to look inward. He's not the man that I'd go. Oh sure, no, I feel you.
But I do want. There's one criticism I want to give of JJ Redick on the court, and I think this is what I would have for their resolution, other than be positive, which I think is also a very good one because,
Embrace
um,
positivity.
I mean, even if you don't think that this team is going to win a championship, as of right now, believing it is part of what goes into making a championship team. Um, but on the court, we all know how LeBron's been bad, and he's been labeled as like a negative and a negative net rating. For the past few seasons, everyone's just talked about how LeBron's advanced stats suck and how
Mhm.
awesome the Lakers are with him off the court and how bad they are with him on the court. This year, it's like really bad because if you look at the Lakers two-man lineups, they have 25 different two-man lineups that have played at least 200 minutes so far this season together. They have the worst net rating out of all of them. Together, LeBron and Luca. They have a negative 10.3 net rating with them on the
I
court
did not know
together.
it was that fucking bad. Holy
So
shit.
these two playing together, it's just not working. And I think the eye test tells you that, but you dig into the advanced numbers and it really is bad. Like when you're talking about how bad the Lakers play, it's as bad as it gets when those two are sharing the court together in extended minutes because both of them at this point need the ball in their hands to be effective at all. LeBron is an off-ball scorer, even as a cutter at this point, is literally non-existent. If he's not passing and setting up his teammates, LeBron is not very useful at this moment in time. I know he's still putting up the stats. I know he's 41 years old. I am not blaming this on LeBron and saying, oh, he should still be this good or that good or this or that. The reality of things is that LeBron is 41 years of age and he's really not all that conducive to winning basketball games, I think is really the point where I'm getting at. Their defensive rating with LeBron on the court is all the way at 119. It's basically 120. And with him off the court, it's 117. So that's not good, but it's also like every single time LeBron is on the court, their defense gets noticeably worse. And the issue is that Luka does that too. So when you have both of those guys on the court together, you have two black holes on the defensive end, and you have three guys who aren't all that good at defense trying to make up for it. So when Luka's not scoring 35 points and getting a triple double, and when LeBron's not scoring an efficient 20 plus points, they are two legitimately negative players on the court. So I think playing them together right now is a recipe for disaster. You have to use them in spurts where they're not on the court together and stagger their minutes more because that's the only way for this team to get better with those two still being on the roster.
Yeah, and another thing about the lineup data you were just talking about, I just not that I didn't believe you, but just verified minus 10.3 in 279 minutes. It's also by far of any at least lineups that have Luca in it, by far the worst rebounding one. So yeah, not
LeBron's
only
averaging 4.9 rebounds a game this season.
yeah, he is clearly not the same. And yeah, I get it. He's coming back from sciatica. It's only been 14 games, but
Yeah, and I will give him like the numbers were definitely worse in the first few. but his BPM is like that's a legitimate stat to look at. Like box plus minus is most people use that. His BPM is the lowest it's been since his rookie year.
Mhm. Yeah, all the as Zach Lowe likes to say, all the Vorps and the Schnorps, those are all
Yeah,
down. Like
yeah.
it's clear like he's just not having the same
But like
impact on the
as
game.
bad as it was last year, like it's another step even worse this year.
Mhm.
Guys, think about this. LeBron and Westbrook, when they played together as a two-man lineup, had minus 1.5. So this
Wow.
Luca and
So
LeBron lineup is significantly better,
so Westbrook and LeBron were
or
minus one
significantly
point.
worse. I'm sorry.
So LeBron and Westbrook together were minus 1.5, and Luca and LeBron are minus 10.3. That like think about that. Think about how much people talked about how awful Russell Westbrook is and how awful he was playing with LeBron. Like you can't even fathom that. Like you probably wouldn't guess that from looking on the court and seeing Luca put up the numbers he does. But it's like the
Yeah,
advanced stats
it's right
tells you
there.
it's
It's right there in
almost
front of
10
us.
times as bad.
That is insane.
All
Cool.
right, Mitch, give us your next. What were you calling it, Dion? The
Resolution.
Resolution. Sorry.
Resolution.
Okay, so I mean, for Memphis, the resolution is pretty self-explanatory. They have probably, and I would say this, barring some insane coaching decisions the next couple of weeks, a top three misuse of their players in rotation in the entire league.
Ah,
I'd say.
yes.
I'd say it's pretty self-explanatory that for some reason there's a superstition that if you play more than 27.5 minutes in a basketball game, you're going
Yes.
to be killed on the street apparently in Memphis. They
Oh,
have they are so quick. I don't know if you've like how much in terms of like Memphis games have you actually sat down and watched?
I
it's
have been more recently since Cam Spencer has been
yeah,
playing.
that's what I was gonna say. It's been fun to watch Cam Spencer, especially
Okay,
as
okay, cool. So just to put it into perspective, to do my little homework, I went back and watched everything from November 20th up to this point, and I'll tell you right now, some of their wins are by God's green grace of miraculously granting them the ability to hit shots in the final 4 minutes. Their losses are just putrid basketball.
yeah, they have gotten
Just
stomped a few
just
times.
some
Yeah.
absolutely like stuff that you would go and see at like your YMCA and you're like, how are these five playing together? That's exactly how Memphis
Mhm.
runs their offense. Not to mention that somehow, some way, Jaren Jackson Jr. has just steadily regressed in every instance that he's on the floor. He has become almost like a net negative at the rim, a deterrent,
Hey, he
more
won
like
Player of the Week.
I
more
was
like one
gonna
of
say I
those.
was ready to like go off on him on the pod not too long ago, and then he won Player of the Week, and I was like,
He's
well, okay,
he's
now's
not a
not the time.
pylon. He's one of those inflatable punching bags that bounces back up after you run through
Like
them
the gas
because
station.
he absolutely accomplishes nothing to stop anybody from coming at him. Their offense is disjointed as hell. Every time you're just like, oh my God, like we're actually putting together a solidified run. They're like, let's play this like a rec league. 5 on, 5 off. Let's just rip everybody off and get off the rhythm. There are moments when I'm just like, oh my God, Cam Spencer, you are really letting it up. Let's keep you on this run. And they're like, Javon Small, get the fuck in there right now. Get
Well,
Cam out of there. You know what? Instead of letting Cedric kind of ride the wave, they're gonna be like, all right, Jalen Wells, Santi, get him the fuck out of there. There's so many instances where I'm like, you could 2K auto substitutions better than how Memphis is doing it right now.
Oh God, yeah, no, that would be
no, I
like
think
you'd
2K
like to
auto
put like
subs are
five
actually a
centers in the
perfect
game at
way to
once.
describe. It's if you set like the rotation size to 11 or 12 and just put it at bench usage at
Yeah,
like
bench. It's like make sure everybody gets the right amount of playing time. Everybody paid
Well, you
equally for
have
this
Cam
rec league.
Spencer, and as good as Cam Spencer's been, like him and Ja play the same amount of minutes pretty much. Zach Edey plays about as much when he plays. It feels like as you have Jock
Yeah,
Landale
they
coming
have
out.
they have 10 guys that average over 20 minutes a game. No one has
I
hit 30.
miss Taylor Jenkins. There, I said it.
Triple J is at 29.9. They have, I mean, it's a 14-man rotation essentially. They have a couple guys that have only played a few games, but they have 14 guys that actually playing over 10 minutes a game. Like,
Well, I think Taylor Jenkins was an obvious scapegoat at this point for
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
but Mitch, I'm so
bigger
glad you brought
roster
this up.
control. Yeah, no, I like that.
I when I like first started this, I went through and just kind of like did off the top of my head for all 30 teams and then just kind of dug deeper into the ones I actually liked. And one of the ones I did write down for the Grizzlies is don't be afraid to play someone over 30 minutes a game. Like I don't understand. I've never liked it
Who
from
would
as
it
soon as
be? Who is that player? If you could only play one Grizzly over 30 minutes a game, who would it be?
Cedric Howard.
Okay, fair. I like that answer.
Honestly, no. Zach Edey, if he was physically capable, but I don't think you could.
Well,
I just
that's
think
not okay. Well,
that's just not gonna happen.
realistic answers only.
Yeah. So Cedric Howard would be my pick.
There's obviously a lot of teams. We're not going to get to every single one, so we're going to just get to a few of the important ones to end off this episode. And one that I have that I think everyone will agree with. This should only take a minute to just briefly agree on. The Timberwolves trade for a fucking point guard.
Mhm.
Anybody, literally
Find a way.
anybody. Does
Find
anyone
a way.
have any no quarrels?
Yeah, no,
Like
that's great.
no,
Yeah, I don't.
like anybody,
I wouldn't say
that
no matter what it takes, but I would go as far as like just not, changing the structure of the team. But yeah, figure it out. Find
as long as you
someone.
don't have to give up a first or like an unprotected first, just go get a guy who can at least play 20 something minutes a game and just take pressure off because Dante DiVincenzo can't play point guard in the playoffs. Anyways, Dion, you can go here with your second one.
Cool. I got a pretty straightforward one as well. It has to do with the Phoenix Suns, who, if you had asked me to predict what I was going to have for a New Year's resolution at the beginning of the season for this team, be a lot different than what I'm about to say. But they've been, and I think will continue to remain as a pretty competitive team in the Western Conference, one that I expect to be in the playoffs in some capacity. But in order for them to take that next step to what I would call actually the Minnesota Timberwolves tier of teams, where like they're a respected playoff team, but I don't actually think they're going to make the finals.
That's hilarious. They're like
Them to
they're
get to
like
that
alone
level,
in that tier. There is no one
they,
else.
I think the Lakers are in that tier too. It might just
Okay,
be them too.
okay, fair,
But for
fair,
the
fair.
Suns to be that third team, I think what needs to change, and I don't know specifically how we get this done. I suggest maybe like hiring lethal shooter or something. I don't know, but someone needs to teach Devin Booker how to shoot threes. He's obviously an incredible scorer. He's a very talented offensive basketball player all around, but the 3-point shot has never been a huge strength from him. If you look at his whole career, like you go through the basketball reference, he's got some pretty solid shooting seasons.
He's one of
But
those
it's
guys
clear when
that
you watch him, yeah, he's a mid-range scorer.
you think he's a good shooter, and then you look at the numbers and you're like,
he is a good
"Ugh."
shooter in
Well,
general.
yeah,
Like his
but
mid-range numbers are good, but not to the range that we
but
need in
he's that he
2026.
when he was in the 3-point contest though, he like set the record at the time, and then Curry broke
Because
it.
he is a great
Well,
shooter, but it's just
yeah, that's
not
what I'm
part of
saying.
his
But like
game.
when you think of Devin Booker, you if you're not consistently looking at the numbers or following, you probably are like, oh yeah, Devin Booker's an elite shooter, but the numbers are just like, eh.
Yeah, it's just never really panned out that way. And this season he's at a career low 30%. So I don't
Was
know
it
how we get there. I don't know what the path is from point A to point B, but we need to go from whatever this is with Devin Booker to where he's at least just back to
well, you know
league
what?
average shooter at the very least.
Part of the issue is probably is that he's not getting nearly as many catch and shoot looks as he usually does because all of them have gone to Grayson Allen because he's the only guy that's handling the ball consistently. It's Grayson Allen or Devin Booker. That's the ball. It's
Hey,
Colin
whoa,
Gillespie.
don't whoa. This is Gillespie erasure. Hold on. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's three guys, and it's really two and a half because
Mhm.
I don't think Grayson Allen is the best decision maker I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think the part is as much as Dylan Brooks does help and just kind of like eating up the shot
He's
volume,
not like
that they
he's
kinda
not
need,
getting
he is not that type of gravity type of player. So,
he's not
um,
getting looks for Booker from three. Like
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't want any cause of alarm. You guys did you see what's going on in the Denver game right now or no?
Oh God,
no, something
what is
bad just
Jokic up
happened.
to now?
So okay, again, I'm not. This is not to scare any of the listeners, but it
Oh, I'm
looks
actually
like
nervous.
Jokic just suffered a pretty interesting knee injury.
No
Non-contact,
way.
non-contact. He planted, backing down, like as he came back down, he planted and he hit the floor pretty quick. Um,
Is he
right now
up
he's
on his own
Please
power?
be a knee
Or?
sprain.
he got helped out. Like he's already off the court and everything, but it says right now he's questionable, tagged to return, not going to
Okay.
return to the game. But
That stinks.
Questionable to
just
return
it's
is
just
optimistic though.
Bro, if he
that's
actually is hurt, that's their entire team is injured.
this is not to cause any panic at the moment, but like that was just a
The fact that he's questionable to return, I mean that he's not
That doesn't mean
automatically
shit.
just
That
deemed
means
out.
nothing. That
Yeah.
means nothing. That
They
means
they
nothing.
do that when DeMar Hamlin died on the field. He was questionable to return.
Oh man. All right. Well, I wouldn't say I'm panicking, but I'm nervous now, Mitch. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you just actually say that?
yeah, sir. I couldn't I wasn't sure if any of you had seen what just happened. That's why I
Mitch,
was,
you know who DeMar Hamlin is, right?
yes, I
Okay. I just didn't know
I
'cause
think
I know you
honestly,
don't follow
yeah,
football.
no, I say Mitch probably knows more about football than I do at this point.
yeah, there's like it like you are right, there are that like the tag means absolutely nothing when they haven't even checked them out yet. But just watching the video is
It's less than good.
it's less than ideal. Like it's one of those injuries where you're like, I've seen that before.
Oh
It's
no,
no
that's a
contact
bad
at all. Like, did he dunk? Was it off a dunk?
No. He was on defense. He stepped back into the restricted area. His leg shifted slightly, and then you could see it tighten up, and then he just fell to the ground.
Oh no.
Knee sprain, calf strain, something. Hopefully.
Something. Oh boy. Well, who wants to go next with the resolution?
No, I don't want to do anything now. I just want to sit and sulk.
Yeah, that's really concerning. But
That's wait, what? He threw down a lob earlier that game. That's
yeah, too
happened,
much. Yeah, too
Jokic.
much torque. Too much
Too
force
much.
going there. Yeah.
Okay. I guess. Wait, I give
I
up
guess
one
to
more
brighten the
now.
mood, we should just do the resolution that we have for our own teams. We all picked one
Or
out
no.
for our favorite teams.
Well,
So
also the Pistons should play Tobias Harris less. They're 10-0 without Tobias Harris this season. They're 14-8 with Tobias Harris.
that's an interesting number, 10-0.
And he's
Okay.
just really like he actually does nothing on the court. He doesn't play defense. He's a mediocre scorer. Doesn't rebound very well. Not a great pass. He just does everything very. He is one of the most not apparent players on the court to me. When I'm watching basketball
Hmm.
games, it's almost as if Tobias Harris ceases to exist. When he has 14 points and I look at the stat sheet at the end of the game, I'm like, I did not see a single one of those buckets.
Yeah, it's very prime Andrew Wiggins of him. His impact on the Pistons
That's
this season, I would say.
disrespectful to Andrew Wiggins, I think.
No, but I just feel like he epitomizes like the
Yeah,
player that like he can play 36 minutes and you're like, oh yeah, Andrew Wiggins was in the game. Yeah, that is how Tobias feels a little
it's
bit.
Karis LeVert and Harris have just been both awful with them. That was just a stat I pulled out. My resolution was going to be that they should just play both of
Go
those guys
watch
less.
2022 Andrew Wiggins, Mr. Sherman, and then
Ah,
come
yeah,
back
yeah,
to
okay,
me.
yes, I
I
understand
dare
that
you.
was
You
like his
said
actual
prime
peak.
Andrew Wiggins. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah,
of
peak Andrew Wiggins is yeah, Warriors the 2022 playoff run, but I meant like, prime Andrew Wiggins meaning like him at his best in
we
that
can get into our
specific
favorite
context.
teams though now. Who wants to get us started? Any volunteers?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Someone
I
raised
had
their
I had
hand.
one that I wanted to share quickly before we do.
Okay, you want to share? Okay.
It's for the Kings. I think they need to just lock Vivek in a room at least through the trade deadline. I think we can all agree on that one. Just don't let him make
Lock
any
up their
decisions.
owner.
Just
That's the
yeah, just
resolution.
put him to the side and just see what happens.
For the OKC Thunder, my advice for your resolution, as Dion says, get some rest. Listen, the chase for 74 wins is done. Maybe even 70 wins is done.
Mm.
This team has played more meaningful basketball games than any other team in 2025. And I think it's starting to show a little bit. I think their body language in this latest Christmas Day game was just bad, and it looked tired. Like guys that I expect to be full of energy, like Lou Dort, who's getting blasted online, by the way. I still love Lou Dort. Um,
Blast Ludort.
I know, but I expect these guys to have energy. That's who they are. And against the Spurs, they just seem to have lost their energy, especially on defense.
Lethargic.
Lethargic,
Yeah, I
many
kind of agree.
Yeah,
adjectives.
other good words like that. Yes. No, I agree.
They do. You OKC's built everything they have, or not built everything they have, but their identity is that they're gonna beat you up with hammers and baseball bats for 48 minutes. They're gonna get out in transition. They're gonna turn turnovers into points better than anybody else out there. And I feel like there is definitely something to be said for the amount of fatigue that they have. It's really hard to go at 110% all the time, much less you know, 82 plus 16. How many games did the Thunder play in the playoffs? I don't even know off the top of my head.
They
But
went
that's
to
like a
they went to
hundred.
seven twice.
That's like 100 plus games, and then this season too. It's a lot of basketball. I know you have the off season and whatnot, but the Thunder play. You get beat up playing the Thunder, but with the Thunder playing like that all the time, they're gonna get beat up. They're not superhuman, and J Dub is still coming back from injury. I still don't think he's 100%.
That's
No,
a
definitely
great
not.
point. Yeah, his wrist is not right, and I don't know how much of that is a rhythm thing or how much of that is a rest thing. I would imagine, I mean, he's already out of the awards conversation at this point, so just rest him and get him strong and ready because where he was 6 months ago in the NBA Finals is completely different from where he is right now. So you
I
can't tell me that there's not something going on
Yeah,
there.
I'd be interested to see what his like long 2 point percentages or his just mid range percentages in general because it felt like that shot, that one dribble pull up from him, or even just like the drive in with the quick burst and then stop right at the elbow. It felt like he hit that every single time he took it, and this year it's just everything feels like it's off to the right or the left. Even if he's short, it's not really consistently missing to the same place, but it's just very clear that he doesn't have the same feel that he did last year, and his jumper is definitely suffering because of his wrist. I don't know if it's worth like I don't know what else they can do for him because I'm not a medical guy, but if resting him is what it takes to get him back to full health, I don't think there needs to be this chase for 70 plus games anymore.
Yeah, 100% agree. And like the fatigue piece of it is why I kind of like sneaky really like the Pacers next season because they're a team that plays like that as well.
Yeah, they're gonna
That's
have a
how
whole
they got
season
to the
off.
finals. and they are basically taking the season off with the way things are playing out.
Yeah, and they're
So
gonna
Yeah.
add Darren Peterson to their team.
yeah,
So,
right. They're gonna
like,
they're
And
gonna add
Pascal
so.
Siakam is pissed off, so he's probably gonna have a really good season next year.
Mhm. But for the
That's my
Celtics,
fault.
what I had resolution wise is really just similar to what you said about the Timberwolves, Nate. How they need a point guard. I just need someone besides Luka Garza coming off the bench that's at least six foot
Yes,
ten.
known point guard Luka Garza.
No, I'm just the center position. Like I just need someone besides Neemias Queta that can actually be an NBA center because they don't have one right now.
Do you have your
And
eyes on anyone?
I got my eyes on a lot of people, Nate. But as far as the center for the Celtics, I don't know. I really actually, the more I think about it, the Nick Claxton idea that you gave to me last time we recorded,
You have some
really
dreams about Nick
really starting
Claxton.
to turn the corner on that. I don't
fuck
really
you,
know
man.
that that's going to happen,
Fuck
but
you, buddy.
pretty
You
much
are- I
anyone
swear to
anyone
God,
who's like an
Mitch wants
it
Nick-
If
doesn't even need to
Boston
be.
trades for Nick Claxton, I will genuinely kill myself.
Hey,
Why?
This is not
Genuinely.
this is not hyperbole. This is me saying right now that I will jump off of a bridge if the Boston Celtics trade for Nick Claxton.
Do you? Cause is it because you want him on the Raptors, or you just
Yes,
think he'd be?
yes.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I very much would like him on the Raptors.
Yeah.
There are things that I would do to people that probably violate the Geneva Convention if I could.
Would Jakob Pertl be alive after those said
Dude,
things?
I would. All right, this is no, this is hyperbole. This is me joking. This is me not being serious. This is not a threat on Jakob Pertl's life.
Satire.
Yes, this is completely a satirical take. I
U.S.
would
government. He's Canadian, so you cannot do.
I
anything.
would jump Jakob Pertl in an empty parking garage in exchange to just have him say, you know what, Toronto, I'll take a stretch and wave at this point.
How do you-
Get Nick Claxton over here.
How do you think that would go? How do you think a fight between Jakob Pertl and Mitch would go? Because
I would
Mitch is.
I would shiv
Oh.
him with a screwdriver is what I would do.
Okay. That's how you get them.
I was gonna
Dude,
say he's
honestly, you
7
would
foot
have the
tall, but I
leverage.
don't think he's
this
seven
dude's
foot.
and a half taller than you. So
Exactly.
you would
And
have kinda
the
like
craziest part about all of it is he would understand why it's happening. He would know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He'd be like, I deserve this. As I'm just
Oh,
feeding-
and then hold on. Then you like kidnap him and you send like one of those videos to the Raptors, and you're like, listen here, Masai. Oh no, Masai Ujiri's gone. Shit.
That's
Who the hell is
crazy.
Who the hell is in charge
Alright,
there?
we
Maple
got-
Leaf, whatever
yeah,
their
Bobby
name is.
Webster. But
Listen, Bobby Webster. You have 24 hours to find a new starting center. Every single day that you don't, or whatever it is.
I
Yeah.
don't think that he'd be too worried about it, honestly. I think they'd be
Yeah.
glad.
no, you know what they do? They'd go ask him if he could bring his jersey and his warm-ups back. Thank you.
Yeah, we could still use that.
Oh fuck yeah, we get the cat back.
Well, I think it's a good transition now. Or I guess, did you have more things to say about the Celtics?
I mean, I was
feel
just saying,
um,
like, it doesn't even have to be like I'll take Nick Richards at this point. Like, I just
That's-
need someone who has proven to be
Again, fuck you.
Capable-
buddy.
Nick
Nick
playing
Richard
NBA.
looks like Nick Richards reminds me of Uncle Grandpa.
I honestly don't know who that is.
Anyways,
And Pizza
Mitch.
Steve, bro. Shout
I
out Pizza Steve.
I think that transitions well to Mitch. I think Mitch can now go into. Is your Raptors thing related to Mr. Turtle?
Actually, yeah, kinda. My Raptors New Year's resolution is to finally take the jump between meddling trades that don't move the needle and large over superstar acquisitions and get right where you need to be, make a needle moving move that doesn't absolutely destroy your identity as a team. Bobby, if you ever were to listen to a podcast, this would be the one. You don't need to prove to the city that a big splash is what's going to like change the identity of this team. You went out and you signed Mo Bamba, presumably because this Jakob Poeltl back thing is much more serious than anybody's leading on. I foresee Jakob probably won't be suiting up again for the Raptors in the next 2 months.
Ever.
I think signing Mo to basically a 12-day contract because it's 12 days before you'd have to guarantee the entire year. I think this proves that they're like, oh my God, we need to find a replacement because Yak's going to miss a lot of time. The perfect thing to do in that instance is to be like, okay, the direction we're going in clearly needs a floor spacing big or a vertical spacer who's a rim deterrent. Now, I could throw you names like Daniel Gafford, Daron Sharp, Nick Claxton. There's a bunch of people that Toronto could actually go after. But all of this needs to be filed with a tertiary move that gets rid of a guy like Obagi or Grady Dick. Because Jacoby Walter is here. I'm a Shedhead, and he's obviously going to be taking more minutes at the
Yes.
two than anybody
Love
else in
Jamal
that
Shed.
instance. So you need to get rid of Obagi and Grady because you're not paying both. And if you're going to decide on one of them, the other one gets canned. So you could tell me right now that Obagi is going to go to the Nets, or Obaji's going to the Pistons. I don't really care what the package is as long as you get rid of them. And then you sit Grady down and you're like, look, you're a 3-and-D player without the 3 and the D. You offer literally no value. We've got Mobo down there grinding the 905, doing everything that he needs to do, and for some reason we still grace you with 15 minutes a game. You have done nothing. So we're going to send you to the Mad Ants because we're just going to straight up cut your ass at this point because you suck so bad. To sum it up, the Raptors' resolution is to figure out which direction they're headed in. Because RJ coming back, the offense looked immediately better. It opened up exactly the same things that Scotty's been doing up until this point. Shout out Scotty for joining Jokic and Wilt as the only players to have that specific stat line, ESPN bullshit, yada yada yada. But also, Scotty has kind of he's done that thing where we were like, okay, this is who he is. This is good. He's not relying as a number one option, which he never will be. But the playmaking has made so many improvements up until this point that genuinely he's doing all the things that Quick should be doing with the ball in his hands. He's got all the reads that you're like, wow, you're a capable point guard. Shout out Quick, by the way, who probably joins Yak as top 3 of the 3 worst contracts in the entire league. Yeah, that's right. We're just gonna tear it all down at this point. Um, I genuinely think the Raptors' best bet is trade for a floor spacing big or a rim deterrent, and then give Shed more leeway as like an actual ball handler.
I like it. I really I tend to always, but I really like your vision for the Raptors there. Yeah.
Low genuinely that works.
Low Kirk annually, that works,
Oh
bro.
my God. Stop. Oh wait. Oh, I didn't give mine. Okay. I guess I'll
All
give
right.
the next.
Yeah, what do you got for the Knicks, Nate?
All right. So let's see. If you guys are going to care about this one at all, even slightly. So for me, I don't know if you guys have been watching the last few games, few weeks. Tyler Kolek. I know Mitch. Shout out Mitch has probably been watching Tyler Kolek because he's been on the Tyler Kolek train since Tyler
Where's the
Kolek
apology
has
for him?
existed
Where's
in
the
the
apology for him?
basketball world. He's been great. Kevin McCullough played his first game, like first serious game, like actual minutes because of Josh Hart being out to a sprained ankle. And he was really good. He hit 3 threes. He grabbed a bunch of rebounds, was really good overall as a hustle guy. And even Mo Diawara, who so far tonight, I haven't checked the box score since we started recording, but Diawara had 13 points in 9 minutes. He's a 6'9" guy that can play a lot of defense, that can run the floor as well as I can see a 6'9" guy running the floor. Really moves like Siakam. Gonna have a video hopefully on that coming soon because I actually think this guy is going to be the next Pascal Siakam. They have very similar career starts and physicals, their movement, just a lot of similarities between those two guys. What I want the Knicks to do is to just keep playing them once Deuce McBride come back from injury, once Josh Hart is fully healthy again, once Landry Shamet come back. I think there isn't any reason why you can't have a bigger rotation on certain nights. Mike Brown has done a really good job adapting and creating new rotations whenever a guy has gone down and believing in the next guy stepping up. He's started Mohamed Diawara in 2 games, and the guy was drafted in the 50s, this past April. So, or not April, June. I'm slow sometimes, man. But yeah, I think that's really all, just because the Knicks don't have a lot of youth, and so far the little youth that they do have already proved to be able to contribute a little bit, and I think that's really important for surviving the next few years and hopefully extending the championship window of this team with the second apron and all, and then if you can get value out of those second round picks like they have been able to, like Mitchell Robinson, like Deuce McBride, and now hopefully the same in these 3 guys. I think there's a real chance that they go from having one of the worst young cores in the league to at least having something to hopefully sustain in the next few years. So I just want to keep or see those guys keep getting at least some amount of run.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know
the
if you guys
best part
watched
so
enough.
far, we'll see how it ends up shaking out in the playoffs. But I think the best part about the Mike Brown hire so far is just the difference in the willingness to try shit. Like Tibbs was just as stuck in your ways as a coach as I think we had in the NBA at the time. So just seeing Mike Brown, like you said, just starting Diawara after he was a late second round pick, just trying different things out, tinkering with the lineups, just seeing what works and what doesn't, versus like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. So. Yeah, I think that was going for the Knicks.
And the thing about Kolek too that I like, and I'm sure Mitch also likes, is that he's allowed Brunson to effectively play the 2 guard at a lot of times, and this has led to his highest 3-point volume of his career. He's shooting 39%. He's making 3 a game, and you can see that he gets that added bit of I'm just gonna run around and my job is gonna be to score the ball, and Tyler's still been able to facilitate and run the offense when Brunson's been able to be in that mode. So I really like that because he hasn't had that since really Randall.
Hmm. All right. Well, that'll wrap up our New Year's resolutions. I do want to do a quick little segment, bring back one we haven't done in a little while now, the chopping block, as Nate so gracefully named it, where we're going to eliminate teams that we just think have no shot of making the conference finals. So I forgot exactly. I did the math last night to see exactly how we got to pace ourselves to get to having four by the time the playoffs start, so we can kind of do like a conference finals prediction sort of thing. But we'll just eliminate one today. So far, on the inaugural episode, I believe we eliminated the Pacers and Wizards. Next time up, we eliminated the Nets. So now we are looking for a
I
fourth
like
team that we're crossing off the list for conference finals contention. And I
I
have
like
I have a pick that I
well,
absolutely
I
think
want to
we should go
say
with, but
just that I like that we cross off the Nets and then immediately they win like seven of their last
yeah,
10 or whatever
still
it
doesn't
is.
make me think that they're going to the conference
No,
finals.
but
But a three
they're
game
No,
win
not
no,
as
streak,
no.
bad as some of the other teams now, on this
mhm,
list.
yeah. But I have a candidate that I would like to nominate. But I'm curious if any of you guys feel strongly about someone.
Oh, I
No.
do.
Okay, Josie, you do?
Should I go ahead and name them?
Yeah, I'd share with the class.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right, so there's no Western Conference teams on this
you're
list so
absolutely
far,
correct.
and there's been one. While yes, they've been trending in the right direction,
Wow.
maybe they know a little something about drafting guys after all, but they have no chance of winning the finals. That
I'm
is the
gonna
New
fight.
Orleans Pelicans, in my opinion.
I'm
Okay.
gonna fight. I'm gonna fist fight you.
Why is
They're
That's your
that?
pick.
absolute. They're
Okay,
going to
you
the
going?
playoffs. No, I'm kidding. But I wanted to go with the Kings because I think that they're a little
That
more
was
bleak right
yeah.
now than the
That was
Pelicans.
100% going to be my pick because I don't see either of these teams getting there. But as far as team I want to cross off right now, like if I'm looking at the standings, as far as the Pelicans are really only 5.5 games out of the play-in, which is not an insurmountable.
They are last in the West,
Yeah,
though.
they are
They are
both.
last in the West, but only a half game ahead of the Kings. I think the Kings have way less upside than this Pelicans team. I really like the way that they've been playing. I think they figured a couple of things out. Zion's been coming off the bench a little bit. They've been messing around with the team, and they're moving in the direction, like really prioritizing the right guys, I think, just by looking at the lineups that they're throwing out there. So I like the upside. Like I can see best case scenario, they sneak in as the 10 seed with like a mid 30s number of wins if that's what it takes. I don't think just looking at the way things stand right now, like the Blazers are the 10 seed at 13 and 19. So it might be 37 wins or something that gets you the 10 seed. That the Pelicans getting to that number feels way more achievable than whatever the Kings have going on right now.
They're just so. I mean, at least the
I think
Pelicans
it's
have like the
equal.
youth that the youth will improve. Yeah, it's really a crapshoot. Neither of these teams is doing anything. So,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
I don't feel
It's kind of tough for me because like I do think that the Pelicans have a like dark horse of an outside chance, but I
yeah.
also at the same time want to be like, do I want to be super realistic and be like, okay, there's a couple there's a team in the East that I thought we would have like had kind of immediately, but
was it the Zards? Are they not there? We've not gotten rid of the Wizards.
no, it's Pacers, Wizards, Nets.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm assuming you're talking about the Hornets?
I was gonna say Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Charlotte was my initial team just because like even with whatever semblance of Melo coming back, like they're probably going to be a team that looks to move off of him anyway,
What
right?
is
Like,
Lamelo?
yeah, well, like I mean, I don't know.
What
Even if
is
they
the
don't move off of
concept of
him,
Lamelo Ball?
he's a 2K my player if we're honest, but I don't know. I mean, maybe trading LaMelo would make them better. Like I could see like this is way less realistic, but I think you can at least craft up a path where like they sneak into the play-in and then
all
quote
right. Well,
unquote anything's possible.
then
Their
I
But as far
will.
as
vibes
the
are
Kings,
better
like I don't
too.
see any world where the Kings get into the postseason this year. I just don't think they have it.
Yeah.
The vibes are
Um.
bad. Like at least with the Pelicans, I think things are turning in the right direction. So I don't want to cross them off
Yeah, they've only
yet. But
lost
we
three
still have the
straight.
Kings sitting there who look about as lifeless as anyone because the Clippers have also turned things around. I actually thought, Josie, that you were going to go with the Clippers, given that obviously you're an OKC fan. You're probably, of course, rooting for their downfall. But
I
um,
can't after Kawhi.
yeah, they're actually on a 4 game win streak. Kawhi just played the game of his life. Like genuinely might have been the best regular season game he's ever played. So um, yeah, I mean, I feel strongly about the Kings. Nate, I think you said Kings. Mitch, where do you land? You're the deciding vote.
At this point, I will say that the Kings would be as well then, because like you said, it really does come down to like how do you think the actual like temperament of this team is versus how shittily constructed they are. And I do think the vibes are insurmountably lower in Sacramento than they are in New Orleans.
Yeah. I agree. So yeah, we'll cross off the Kings. Don't get me wrong. I think Pelicans and Hornets are right on the block, the chopping block for the next time we do this. But we'll see how we pace it out because we could do. I think I'd rather do two per episode if we could, just to extend these segments out a little bit.
Okay.
But we'll see how it ends
Roger
up. But I
that,
think that'll
Captain.
do it. That'll do it for this episode. Make sure you subscribe to the pod. Thanks, of course, to everyone for listening. Check us out on all social media as well at 2for1hoops. Nate, you got that Mo Diawara video coming soon?
Yeah, hopefully I'll have something on Mo Diawara. The next Pascal Siakam video coming soon.
Fans have been waiting for Diawara content.
Yeah, I know. It's been on everyone's holiday wish list was Mo Diawara content. Please feed me Mo. Feed me Mo. Anyways, get
Anyways,
us out of here.
that'll wrap us up. Stay tuned for the next episode coming up this weekend.